Lisa, you contribute to a book called Workplace Learning, Big Data, and Organizational Readiness, Where to Start. And I believe that was with co-authors Stephen Villachica and Jerome Bremen. I apologize if I didn't get that correct, but I thought it was an interesting article. Can you share more with our listeners, specifically in terms of organizational readiness in this particular article? Can you maybe provide the main point to this article?
Sure. So there's a growing need for professionals who are able to analyze large data sets to inform business decisions. And, this evidence is presented through examples of big data and analytics to inform and assess informal and formal workplace learning initiatives inside of this article that we wrote. And embedding the big data within a performance improvement framework to deliver an organizational readiness model. So it's really looking at trying to work across some of the traditional silos that you find in an organization. So the people that are able to set up and maintain and manage the business intelligence systems in your organization oftentimes aren't necessarily the same people in your L&D function that can help you think more strategically about how to upskill your talent pool or develop your organization learning function and keep people retained and growing in their roles and responsibilities and engaged in their workplace. So we saw an opportunity to bring these leaders from different areas of the business together and really talk about, okay, so if you do want to leverage your business intelligence system and maybe outside data sources too, what are some of the things that you need to work through or think through as you're going to engage in this process? And so that's what we wrote that article about.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I'm going to share that article in our show notes. I encourage our listeners to read that. So really, I think to summarize the article, Lisa, is it fair to say that in terms of workplace learning, organizations can really leverage big data in order to promote organizational readiness for workplace continuous learning? Would that be a way to summarize the whole idea behind the article?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of different areas that need to be considered. So, your organizational culture, what skills you have, and then what you want to achieve. So It's quite complicated, I think, to determine readiness. But if you're going to start someplace, you should start with your technology, your culture, and then your strategic objectives.
Well said. I couldn't agree more that organizational readiness and being able to assess that can be a pretty in-depth conversation, I would say.
Right, yeah.